Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have returned. It's League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys for some LCK power rankings. And normally, Mark, the least interesting, they're kind of easy to do. It's the LCK rankings. It's Korea, and we're like, yeah, you know, Damwon's top, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the same order. But this week, it's got a little bit of spice, and it was tricky to go through these teams.
Oh yeah, someone put way too much gochujang sauce in, my man. It is major spicy for the LCK region this week, and well, you can thank one squad specifically for some major shakeups.
Yeah, and it starts right at that number 10 spot because you have DRX. DRX, playoff team, supposed to see growth in summer as the only winless squad at 0-4. What's happening, Mark?
Yeah, this was not the way was supposed to go whatsoever for DRX. And that's even having some type of understanding and giving some type of leeway that, okay, it might go bad. It might go sour at some point. Not like this, not to this degree. Oh my Lord, we're in total free fall for DRX.
Now, I'll try and look at the bright side. 2 of these losses are to Genji and Damwon. Okay, those are absolutely forgivable losses. They were competitive in a game against Genji. But Afrika and Nongshim, gotta win.
Yeah, and that's not supposed to be about totally dunking on Nongshim and Afrika Freaks. This is supposed to be about what DRX was at after Spring Split, what level of power they had shown.
Supposed to be fighting for worlds,
right? And now they're at the bottom of the LCK toilet bowl. Not what you want to be.
Not where you want to be, and right ahead of them in that toilet bowl, the turd above is Freddie Briand, another squad we were hoping for that full playoff push. It's still really early, guys. It's only week 2, but you had them losing to T1 in the 2-0, and then, oh my God, they're giving Hanwha their first series win. It took 3 games for Hanwha to do it, which is why they're only 1 spot ahead of them at number 8, and the fact that Hanwha's that low with Freddie Briand at this point is crazy in itself.
You can have your own type of feelings about Freddie Briand down where they are and not having, as much as we hyped up, somewhat consistent progress and growth and lessons and learned that they had throughout spring to get to where they were and to pull off some of the upsets they did. That's not what we've seen from them in summer. And it's right. It's okay to be, disappointed, feel let down by that. But then you got to remember that there are people that are Hanwha Life fans. What has been going on this past year, this past couple bits, it's not a happy time. Let's just put it that way.
Again, trying to go on the bright side. Hanwha in that series win. They bring Arthur back in as starting jungler. I'm not sure why he wasn't starting the first few. In spring, he was clearly the better jungler than Johan throughout, again, pretty much all of spring. So happy to see him back in the starting lineup. And Hanwha fully believe that they're still going to bounce back. But it's honestly, at this point, picturing 4 LCK teams going to Worlds is not quite as scary a subject as the LPL sending 4.
No, absolutely not. It's getting scary territory for fans of the LCK, thinking that, oh man, we got to get a 4th team to represent us and be strong. How are we going to do that?
LPL 5 teams, 5 LPL teams.
Oh my God.
The big move that you were alluding to, the climb up, is Liiv Sandbox. And listen, I was fully ready to have them at number 10 the entire split. And then they decide to say, you know what? Let's pick up a win against Hanwha Life and against T1 and do it both in 2-0 fashion. Huh?
And the thing is, it wasn't just, the 2-0 fashion and doing it against Hanwha Life. You come out of that one, you're kind of, again, scratching your head and you're
more
or less
upset for Hanwha Life. Like, what are they doing?
You're leaving it going like, Hanwha, like, how'd you let this happen? What's going on? And then they do the exact same thing, more or less in the same format against T1. And then that's when you have to start realizing, and you have to, again, go, T1, what the heck happened? But also,
Liiv Sandbox, the best team in the world.
Hey, what's going on over here? You have to give them some credit and some props for that as well. And that's why they get this big jump up in the power rankings for week 2 of the LCK.
Absolutely well-deserved. They shut up all the people saying they're going to be the worst team far and away for the entire split. It only took them 2 weeks to really turn people's opinions, so they deserve to climb to that number 7. Even though they have a worse record, KT is that 6th spot, and the 1-3 record, I know, It doesn't look super pretty, but remember, they got ghost benched. That's KT's contribution at the very least to this season, regardless of how things play out. And that Gen G series, we are riding a little high because it was competitive. The Africa series was also competitive. So despite being 1-3, there's been a lot of positive things to talk about for KT.
There's been signs of life, really, from this KT roster, and what they've been able to do has been the big thing from them for this summer split, and what you've seen from them. Sure, close to getting that the full upset against Gen G, and how they've been playing. Yes, the record is not, as you said, the same as Liiv Sandbox and what they've done. But if you're talking about the quality of performance and plays, I think anybody would be looking at KT roster ahead of Liiv Sandbox, even with those results in favor of Liiv Sandbox recently.
It's not just the bottom 5. That's a little spicy this week in the LCK. As we move into the top 5, it's the problem is usually the top 5. That's like the elite of the elite, the big boys. You're ready for these guys to really compete for a title, a championship. We have Nongshim and Afrika, and having them this high because of the slumping DRX and Hanwha, even though they're 3-1, they haven't really had the difficult schedule yet to warrant being super excited about the 3-1 record.
Right, and still showing some of the weaknesses, some of the mistakes that you see from them in spring, and how they would stack up to a team that, at full tilt, like Damwon, like a Gen G. And I'm still not having enough in their favor to take their side in this one, unfortunately, for the Nongshim fans.
Yeah, for Nongshim or Afrika. Both of them, there's still so many question marks, and they've been beaten up on the teams below them. That's where these 3 wins are coming respectively for them, because yes, I'm including DRX as a team below them, because that's what it is. Yeah. They're 0-4.
And that's the reality of the LCK right now, and the way it was. Springtime, summer, that's the way it is. And even for these 2 teams, I think the big one for me is, yes, you can continue this growth, and for Nongshim specifically, I think for that next level, I want to see some more stability from Rich in the top side is where I'd like to see that established. But for Afrika Freaks, I just need to see them do this against the better teams in the LCK to have any type of belief that this is the direction that they're going, because this is capitalizing on what we hoped to have seen from Afrika Freaks. And we did not see it, though, in spring. So that's the question.
If Fly is the mid laner, I don't see it happening against the top tier teams in the LCK. But talking about those 2 squads, it alludes into the next one, which is T1 in that number 3 spot. That series against Liiv Sandbox would plummet most teams. But you can still talk about early on in this season, okay, maybe that was just a one-off bad series from T1, and because the teams below them are Afrika and Nongshim, not someone you have the most confidence in, we're just dropping T1 down a spot to 3.
Yeah, and I think this is more so just about understanding now what people's expectations have to be for this T1 roster and what we've seen and what you can expect from them. And one of the big ones, and what really did bite them in the butt in the Liiv Sandbox series, is the itemizations, right? They chose to do, and we're seeing the composition on the other side and the poor choices that they're making. It doesn't have to be full-on devout follower of the Church of LS to believe that some of these item choices is absolutely the wrong way to do it mathematically at a strict forward level. And that is something that, unfortunately, as we've seen with T1, is going to be an identity for them for quite a while.
Yeah, that and some pick bans, choices, roster decisions. We're hoping that they still don't make these sweeping, overreactive moves to the roster after that Liiv Sandbox loss, because that was an issue in here, guys.
They better not do that. Oh my god.
So we'll see what's happening in week 3.
Joe Marsh and I are gonna have some words if that's going on, my man.
We're sliding into those DMs of Joe Marsh. Number 2, Gen G still okay at that number 1 spot for now. Damwon this role swap has almost given them a reset, and now they need to kind of reprove themselves against some of the top teams before they can take back that top spot, because they've done it against Afrika and they've done it against DRX, but we need to see it against some of the big 3. They have at least Hanwha on the docket, who I know has had an underwhelming start, but really, I just need to see Canyon against better mid laners, because if he keeps styling on people, Damwon's coming for that top spot real quick.
Yeah, and as much as it is still about Canyon going up against the very best mid lane for the LCK, and that's kind of a little bit more variance in what you want to see, I'm still focused on Showmaker in the bottom lane and what he can do as an ADC, how he can develop some chemistry, the skills that he wants to have with Beryl, right? Seeing what Beryl's performance level, how that's going to bounce back. Hopefully, no more Genshin Impact. Hey, we're good. No, hey, putting that one on rest for the rest of the summer split because you got a good
Showmaker
ADC
won't let
partner.
him. Yeah, he's got
Exactly.
he's got a duo queue. He's got to scrim together and say, "I got to practice, man. Stop playing Genshin."
He was in the mid lane. He couldn't reach over to Beryl's computer and close out Genshin Impact. Now he's the ADC. He's right beside Beryl. He can close out Genshin Impact. There it is, the 200 IQ. But I want to see him against the best ADCs that we've got in the LCK.
Give me
Deft.
Absolutely better believe. Deft isn't, 2019 era Deft anymore, but
still a name to go up against and stack up against. And then you've got, Teddy. You've got other good guys still here shooting big time for the ADC role, and that's what I want to see from this Damwon team as well, how they stack up there.
Week 4 is Gen G versus Damwon. That's obviously the real test we're all waiting for. But Gen G, they haven't done enough to warrant getting out of that top spot for now, despite Damwon having some... You got to balance having exciting and fun games versus actually judging the power level of the squad.
Canyon BDD, you're going to give me some ruler Showmaker action? Bring it on, my man. I'm ready for that
those
showdown.
Those are weird matchups to talk about. Canyon versus BDD. Why is that the matchup anyone's talking about?
Clid versus Malrang. Here we go.
That's the one everyone's hyped up for. But it's pretty clearly Gen G and Damwon as the top 2 squads after T1 slumping so far in the LCK. Hopefully there's at least 2 teams you can be confident on from Korea heading to Worlds this year. That's it today, though, for the LCK rankings. Eric and Mark with you guys. As always, thanks for hanging. We'll catch you on that flippity flip.